Wow. Brutal afternoon for the New Jersey Devils in two different countries. Split squad games, which I absolutely hate. I'll talk about that more in a minute. Split squad games. The New Jersey Devils fall by a score of 3-2 via shootout to the Capitals at Prudential Center and fall by a score of 2-0 in Quebec in a mutual site game against the Senators. Lose that one 2-0. Devils go 0-2 on the afternoon with the split squad. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And split squad games are absolutely trash. And I'm not just talking about the, because we lost them both. I don't really care, quite frankly, in the preseason. You don't want to, be horrific, but in the end, who's really looking at the wins and losses? But the split squad thing definitely sucks. And it also sucks when they're at the same time. So I had both games going on the screen, paying way more attention to the home game against the Capitals, as that one had the big dogs in it and way more things that I wanted to see. The preseason debuts of both Lachance and Lenni Hameenaho. We'll get into all this. But that one I was way more interested in. And so paying attention to that and kind of peeking at the other screen, not much to see in that Ottawa game. I mean, they got thoroughly handled across the board. I think they're outshot like 30-something to 15 or whatever it was. It was terrible. I'm going to try to see some clips of that later, but it doesn't seem like much positive to take away from that one. But in the home game against the Capitals, the Devils fall in the shootout after trailing 2-0. We get to the scoring here. Former New Jersey Devil, the latest in a long line of Devils to come back and haunt them. Graham Clark, after Markey makes a couple saves, he's way out of position. Everyone's kind of swimming around. He buries in the empty net. Caps up 1-0. After one, we go to the second, and then Leonard just comes in alone and beats Markey pretty badly for the 2-0 lead. Later in the period, though, on the power play, Nico Hischier cuts the lead to 2-1. And I have to say, the power play, all the different looks that we could throw out there. I mean, we're gonna have some fun times on the power play this season, kids. Some fun times on the power play because we have absolute lethal weapons. Now, hopefully they could get it done 5-on-5, but with the extra man, this team is going to be exciting, kids. They're going to be exciting. So many different looks. Nico cuts the lead to 2-1. Later in, I think it was it that period or the third? I can't recall, but Jack and Bratter had a 2-on-0 and maybe a couple too many passes. There was like a million passes back and forth, and then finally Bratter rips it. Lindgren gets it with his leg pad. Terrible to be on the highlight reel for a goalie in a spot like that with those two guys. It is what it is. What a game by Lindgren. I think he should have been the star of the game. I meant to look back and see if they gave him one, because he certainly was. Let me just pull that up now. I'm curious to know. Even if they lost, I think he should have got it. Did they even let's see. Oh my God. The 3 stars of the game were all Devils. Third star, Jack Hughes with 2 assists. Nico Hischier, a goal. Second star, and the first star was Lachance. And we'll get to him. My boy Lachance showing out. But anyway, Jack and Bratter blow that 2-0. It is what it is. Hopefully they get on the same page with that. I think Bratter thought Jack was going to shoot his last pass before it came back to him, and he just kind of rushed the shot. But and then in the third period, before I get to the third period, I forget what period it really stood out. But the core 4, the big 4, Jack, Bratter, Nico, Timo, plus Seamus Casey is a lethal power play combination, kids. I mean, Seamus Casey, we already know what he brings offensively to this team from the back end. But my God, on the power play with some of those guys, Casey fits right in there. And I thought that unit looked lethal. They were out there, I think, basically attacking for a full power play, maybe like except for the last 5 seconds of it. I forget what period it was, but they were just dominating. We go to the third period, down 2-1, and then as a power play is expiring, my boy Lachance, I love this kid. I've been talking about him for quite some time now. Started paying attention to him while watching BU and Big Mike Yegorov. Devils picked him up last season by brokering that Trent Frederick deal. Get Lachance. Liked him at BU. He looked very good in development camp and in the Prospects Challenge in Buffalo. Unfortunately, he was hurt in that tournament in Buffalo and hasn't played a preseason game yet, but he was a guy I really was hoping would make a push to make this roster. And in his first, this is now his highest level of competition in this NHL preseason game. I thought he looked pretty good, guys. I really like what this kid brings. He's 6'4", 6'5", monster dude. He was involved in some scrums early on. He gets a look on the power play as the net front guy, just being a menace to the goaltender. Shot comes in, and he just uses that hand-eye. Screens the goalie, puck comes up, uses that hand-eye, bats the puck in past Lindgren. What a beautiful play, and what a beautiful net front presence, and what a beautiful throwback player. Love Lachance, showing what he could do there, and I thought they were going to screw him there on the challenge. I thought there was a chance they were going to take the goal off the board because there was like a little contact, but you never know what goalie interference is going to be. It's probably one of the most inconsistent calls in hockey, and a long line of things that are not consistent. We see all the time that, the criteria changes for a lot of this stuff. But Lachance, man, I tell you what, I love this kid, and I think with a full preseason, I think there's a good chance he would have made the team. It could be a little late for him now, but I'm hoping he makes a push because what he brings in terms of just that grittiness, the size, crazy hands. I like him a lot. I've been talking about him a lot, and in his first game, he showed what he could do. And then we get to the shootout. Oh, power play gone for nothing in the overtime. If you got a power play in overtime, you got to end the game. I mean, they failed to do so. They had some chances. Again, Lindgren stood on his head. He should have been the number one star of the game. I don't see how with all the saves he made, including some decent ones in the shootout, that guy didn't get the first star. I mean, it's crazy, but Jack scores in the shootout. Dubois scores for the Caps. Bratt gets stopped, and Leonard scores. First two shooters for the Caps beat Dawes. And then GRITSYUK, in a high-pressure situation to keep the game alive, scores and extends it. And then we go back and forth. Chychrun and Timo save. Pro to save. Nico gets in too tight. And then finally, Dawes gives it up to Kristoff for the skate-off shootout victory. But, wow. Shanelachance, guys. Shanelachance. Biggest takeaways for me from this game. Let me just show the stats here. Caps, 21 shots on goal. Devils, 22. Face-offs, a little bit in the Devils' favor, 53.3% to 46.7%. Devils 1 for 5 on the power play for 20%. Caps go 0 for 2. 30 hits for the Caps, 28 for the Devils. 20 block shots for the Caps, 7 for the Devils. 8 giveaways Caps, 10 giveaways for the Devils. Caps with 2 takeaways and 1 takeaway for the Devils. And we drill down a little bit more here. Nico with that power play goal, 3 shots. Glendening. We got to give the guys love for the grinder stats. 4 blocks and 3 hits. Let's go. This guy's trying to be 4C. And right now, if I had to bet money on it, I might say it could be him. 4 blocks and 3 hits. This guy is playing his ass off on a PTO. My man Lachance, 3 shots and 6 hits to go with that goal. Shanelachance, come on down. You throwback animal, you. Timo Meier, 3 shots. Hameenaho, a shot and 4 hits. Love to see that from Hameenaho. Shot and 2 hits for Hallinan. Melovsky, pretty quiet game, 1 shot. Bratter with 3 shots. GRITSYUK with a block and a hit. Okay. Jack Hughes, 4 shots to go with his 2 assists. Dilly with 2 hits. Nemitz, Pesce, 1 each. Ozapov, 7 hits, a game high. And then we look at the tendies here. Markey gives up 2 goals on 18 shots, making 16 saves. And then Nico Dawes, 3 saves. But the shootout was the downfall. I'm not even going to pull up the stuff from the Ottawa game. But wow, I thought takeaways from this one, I thought Casey looked great once again. Seamus Casey. For a while, I got caught up in the Edwards hysteria. I did. I think Edwards is going to be a great player. And if we had to rely on him in Luke's spot, obviously I think there'd be growing pains. I don't think it would be a tragedy, but it's not ideal at this time. He's still young and he's going to develop. I did get caught up in the Edwards hype for a minute, but I do like Edwards and I've liked him for a while. I think he's going to be a player in this league. But at the moment, with these past couple of games, it seems like Seamus Casey was like, well, I'm still here, guys. I'm still here. I'm still Seamus Casey. And if Luke somehow does not have a contract when the regular season starts, I would think Seamus Casey will be playing alongside the cool-handed veteran Brett Pesce. And I don't think we would be that bad off, if I'm being honest. I think we would be okay. We would be just okay if it's what it comes down to. Obviously, the soap opera continues. As many of you know, I don't enjoy talking about it anymore. I'm just kind of over it. Hopefully, we get some news on that front. But until then, it looks like it may be Casey's spot to lose. Again, Lachance, love this kid. Would love him in the bottom six. Scrappy, physical, good hands, good net front guy. Will go in the corners. Will get in the scrums. Not afraid of anything. Love Shane Lachance. GRITSYUK. Expected a little bit more given that he played with Jack and Bratter for a while, and then they flopped him and put him with Nico and Timo. But when he was called upon for the shootout, he delivered. And GRITSYUK, I do think he starts in the bottom six, but we'll see how things go. He may force his way back up, but with the split squad, they're like, let's test this guy out with some top-end skill. And he got to play with 4 of the better players in the world today. He played with Nico and Timo, and he played with Jack and Bratter. Baby steps, but so far, I like GRITSYUK. See what you guys are talking about. Zach, still lots of rust to shake off, I'd say, for sure. But some good takeaways from this one. Zach, we needed our boy Cotter for the shootout. Yeah, he certainly would have came in handy in this lineup. Ryder says, considering the split squad, we look solid. I mean, it was all right. You know, they should have won the game. I mean, they had every opportunity to win it, and they probably could have won it a couple times in the third and in the overtime. But Lindgren stood on his head. How he didn't get the first star is crazy. Travelin says, game was 50-50, started off lame and got better. Yeah, it definitely got better as the game went on, but largely in part for power plays. Dubs is like, was that the game, Ace? I know it's preseason, but they seem to only score on the power play. Even with majority NHL squad, still struggling 5-on-5, not good. I'm not too worried, man. It's preseason. Regardless of, you know, they're just not going to get up the same. But the 5-on-5 stuff, hopefully it gets figured out. And again, they're experimenting with lines a little bit. But on the bright side, that power play will be lethal. Michael S., the Caps announcer, said that Dougie was the only Devils player not playing in either game. Is he banged up already or being held out for a trade? I'd imagine it's just kind of a rest kind of issue. You know, I think that's probably what it is. I don't think it has anything to do with the trade, but at this point, who knows, right? Anything could happen, but I don't think it's time for Dougie to get traded yet. And if that was going to happen, I think it would have already happened, but you never know. Paul, 3 things. That Nico Jack power play is just crazy. 2, that Bratt and Jack shorthanded pass back and forth should have been a little more spaced out and not so tight. 3, that GRITSYUK release is insane. Yeah, agreed. Probably one too many passes on the 2-on-0, but you know, it is what it is. It'd be a lot more bothersome if this was a regular season game. Ryder, what am I talking about? We shouldn't have had a chance in Ottawa and our Caps game went to a shootout. Are you on drugs? I think Brendan is probably just a lot more down right now. We had a significantly stronger lineup than the Caps and we're awful in the first period. Maybe you aren't. Yeah, but it's Brendan. It's preseason, man. I mean, we're experimenting with lines. Like, yeah, I want to win every game too, but I'm certainly not gonna, you know, start jumping off a bridge off a preseason game that we honestly got. Lindgren was the difference. We should have won the game, despite going down 2-0. Lachance has some silky mitts. Yeah, he does. That Lachance, guys. Ooh, that Lachance. It's gonna suck for me if he's not on the opening night roster, but if not, I think we see him at some point this season. He brings elements that no one else really can in that bottom 6, and it's just, you saw the hands just batting pucks out of the air. If you guys watched him in the Prospects Challenge, he had some really nice finishes in tight. Brings the physicality. I like his game a lot. Justin, preseason game in Quebec City sells out. Take notice, Bettman. Quebec City deserves a team again. I don't know if I may have told this story, but a quick little aside on Quebec. I want to say it was in either 2011 or 12. It was somewhere around then. It was I believe it was for the last home game of the regular season. And on Fan Appreciation Night, multiple busloads of people from Quebec came, mostly wearing Nordiques jerseys with all kinds of signs and shit, trying to get a team back in Quebec. And super nice people. I drank a ton of beers with them outside, was talking to them about Marty. Obviously, Marty is Canadian royalty, especially, you know, in the province. He's from Quebec. And all these guys, I was just talking to a bunch of them, and they were there to try to show the NHL. They like took over a full section, I think. They were trying to show the NHL that Quebec needed a team again. And it's a shame for these guys that this was, 15 years ago, and they still don't have a team. But it seems as though that's a city that could support hockey. Ryder, I think power play 1, Jack, Bratt, Meier, Hischier, Hamilton. Power play 2 of Luke, Nemitz, Mercer, Dadonov. Luke, Nemitz, Mercer, Dadonov, and Mercer again. Mercer twice. Elite. Grits. Okay, Grits instead of... So Luke, Nemitz, Grits, Dadonov, Mercer. I mean, yeah, we have the personnel to put some scary combos out there. And that's assuming, again, Luke is here. If not, I like that same mentality and just plug Seamus Casey in the Luke spot. Michael's preseason, settle down. NHL trying to get in a rhythm. AHL guys fighting for their lives. Doesn't mean anything. Completely agree. Brendan, our power play did look good. Lachance reminds me of Nason and can only get better. There were a few good takeaways. It was a pretty pathetic game. Also love to see Jack and Grits get in on the shootout. I don't think the game was as bad as you're making it out to be. I mean, there was some positives. The first period was not good, and there was, the 5-on-5 play was a little whatever. But it's preseason, man. We fought hard, tied it up, and should have won. If it wasn't for Lindgren, we win that game. Ryder says Nemitz just looks too good to take him out for Casey. Casey will replace Hamilton next year. Blah, blah, blah. Paul, Ace, who would you buy out or send to waivers to be able to finally secure Luke? Do you think there's any other players we could add on the cheap side that would help our bottom six? We need to get rid of money. And we have, I think, at this point, Paul, I believe for the first time in a little while, we have decent bottom six depth because there's going to be some hard decisions for the coaching staff to make. You have guys like Cruikshank and Glendening and Legare and Lachance. And there's a few others where I think for the first time, I am not that worried about the bottom six. I mean, I'm concerned. I want to see them rebound as a group or the new look group in the bottom six. But I think we have enough pieces here now and a few that'll be on the outside looking in that will have a pretty good bottom six. I don't think they're going to be adding any. I think they're going to try to figure out something down the line. If the Luke deal comes, I think the quick fix is the Kovacevic LTIR. But we'll see how that all plays out, Paul. I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. And maybe Fitz is trying to not put anyone on LTIR and move out money. But you would think if that was a possibility, it would have already happened. But who knows? Who knows? Joseph McCauley, thank you for the super. I think I was on the wrong stream. Nemitz and ARSENY will be the main focal point. He's counting on these guys. But who's counting on these guys? Thank you for the super, Joseph. Nemitz, I think, is going to be a mainstay for sure. And GRITSYUK, I thought for a few months now, and especially after it came out that he has that clause to go back to the KHL if they try to put him in Utica too long, both on the opening day roster for sure. For sure. And GRITSYUK, like I said, we might see some opportunities come his way, whether it's power play time, playing in the top six at times, or at some point eventually in the season. GRITSYUK, big question mark, and so far he looks pretty damn good. Thank you very much for the super, Joseph. Justin says this fan base needs to calm down. It's preseason. I think there's a lot of people that are a little tense. We've been through a lot. Justin. Ryder, I've loved our preseason, to be fair. Wins and losses aside, I think the Devils and Utica will be dangerous. I mean, Utica should have at a minimum a handful of guys or so that are close to NHL ready. Guys that could potentially be in the league on other teams. Or the Devils eventually, but just not at the moment because of depth. But, I have no complaints really that much about the preseason. But the split squad thing is crap. I want to know if other teams have this too, because it seems extremely unfair. Paul, Ace, be safe, dude. Longtime listener, virgin in the live chat. Longtime fan since late 90s, early 2000s. Keep doing your dude. Much appreciated. Let's go Devils. Thanks a lot, Paul. Appreciate it, especially from another longtime fan. Glad you enjoy it. And hopefully this 25-26 season could be a special one, and we could get some of that old school kind of winning ways feelings back again. And I do have a good feeling about this team. There's just certain elements when I see it, it gives me a little warm feeling. And I do think that there more so than in recent years, there is like a very like, it almost seems like a more serious business like approach to where a lot of these guys know that they just shit the bed last year, and not necessarily shit the bed, but underachieved big time and want some redemption. And I do like the additions of Dadonov and Brown. I liked Dadonov as an addition a lot better when I thought it was for the bottom six, or at least that was kind of the illusion. He may very well end up in the top six for the whole season, maybe. But I think a guy like Brown commands respect from the locker room. He has the experience. He's been around, made it to 2 finals and lost to Tkachuk and the Panthers. But I think guys like that are some of the guys we needed to kind of push this group along to the next step. And hopefully this year it's an Eastern Conference Finals or further. You guys know where I'm at. Eastern Conference Finals or bust. I do think if we stay healthy and some things go our way, I'm not saying we're going to be a juggernaut, but I do believe this team is capable of getting to the conference finals. I really do. But it starts with staying healthy, obviously. Justin says, Utica won't do anything. Happy 70th anniversary, Rochester Americans. Let's go, Amherst. Okay. Utica could be decent. How many teams have split squad games, Michael? I'd be so curious to know, because it's just such a kind of annoying thing to deal with. Yeah, it's like, and our home roster was obviously much stronger than the one we sent to Quebec to play the Sens. I want to know what how many teams in the league have split squad. I don't know if that's something I could easily look up. I said you in Rochester. Ryder, for the first time in years, I felt like we could be a solid team regardless of injury as long as Hughes and Hischier are good with this depth. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think an injury to any one of the, I think a Dougie injury hurts us. I think a Bratter injury hurts us. So, I mean, if I had to, I agree that Hughes and Nico, being centers and being who they are to this club, probably are the two that you would hate to see the injury from the most. But I do think there's other guys that if they were injured would really hurt the team. But I agree. Those are the two most important pieces. Joseph, thank you for the super. What do you think our bottom six looks like? What does our bottom six look like? Let me take a look. I mean, if I had to say right now, man, if I had to pick right now, well, it's going to be here. Let me throw this up on the screen. Bear with me 1 second. It's going to be something similar to this, assuming there's no other injuries. This is kind of, let me see. Oh, man. Decisions. But what does our bottom six look like, Joseph? So it's going to look something like this. So they have Palat, Glass, and Brown, Cotter, Lamico, and GRITSYUK. I do think there is a good chance that Glendening gets the 4C over Lamico. But I think that's going to be probably one of the tougher decisions for the coaching staff. But outside of that, it's like when you really look at this, like who else would possibly come out? And it's like, that's it. 4C for now. And that's why outside of an injury, it's going to be hard for a guy like Lachance. But I think that's probably, if I had to bet on it right now, I probably think Glendening might steal that spot. But it's going to be one of the two. I would prefer Glendening, but who knows what their thought process is or whatever. And Lamico already has a deal, so that very well could come into play here as well. We saw last year at PTO, Kevin LeBanc had a solid preseason for the Devils and capped it off with a hat trick in Philadelphia. I was actually at that game, and it was when the big boys were already in Czechia for the Global Series, and it was basically an AHL team in Philly. And LeBanc got a hat trick to cap off a strong preseason. The Devils made him some kind of offer. I think it was a two-way or whatever it was, and he saw that the forward group was crowded. And then he ended up going to Columbus. I fear that we may see something similar with Glendening. He just may see a lot of red tape or kind of roadblocks preventing him from an NHL job, and he may seek a more stable situation for himself. And I believe it probably will be out there. And it would be unfortunate, but I do think these are going to be the bottom 6 guys, and you may see Glendening there instead of Lamico, but it's going to be something just like that. Justin, sorry, Ace, I live in Rochester, New York, sir. And no, I get it. I'm a home team guy. There's no teams that I root for that are not the home team. I'm a home team guy. All these people that live in New Jersey and claim, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors or, the Dallas Cowboys, like my little brother. They saw the Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Aikman dynasty years, and they're like, we're Cowboys fans. And then they've been chasing those Super Bowl championship highs for the last 30 years. But I'm a home team guy all the way, and I get it. DM Sanks, hey, Ace, we'll be going to the Sharks game October 24th. Can't wait. Looking forward to a better season, but I'm keeping my expectation low. That's always a fair approach. Always a fair approach, but I will say I am more pumped for this season. No, I'm not gonna. I get fired up for every season, guys. I live for this shit. I mean, let's be real. But I guess maybe not more fired up this year, but I have slightly more hope just because I feel like the stakes are higher for a lot of the guys, and I think we're going to see that translate on the ice. Like Nemitz came in here like a man on a mission. We all saw the crazy gym photos, and he looks all beefed up. Jack Jack and Bratt are, Amanda Stein's tweeting pictures of them on the ice 15 minutes after practice ended. That's not something I don't think that was too commonplace in prior seasons. And when your 2 top guys are out there, trying to work on things and get a feel for each other and just develop even more chemistry, brings a tear to my eye. That is the shit that winners do. That is winning program shit. You would see guys like Arnott and Eliash and Sikora do these kind of things back in the glory days of the New Jersey Devils when they were just scorching the league and being one of the best lines in hockey. They would constantly stay on the ice after practice and work on stuff because that is how you improve, right? They're like, okay, we just did our team practice, but now we're going to kind of do our own thing. Love to see that. I was extremely pleased when Amanda Stein tweeted that photo. I believe it was yesterday, but that Jack and Brad are on the ice doing extra stuff afterwards. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Michael says this year, Florida, Colorado, Nashville, Utah, and Calgary have had split squad games this preseason. Okay. Thank you for that, stat guy, Michael. But if that's everybody, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we would be 6. I mean, yeah, if only 6 teams out of the whole league do it, I'm going to say that's kind of crappy, but it is what it is. I mean, it doesn't count. So Ryder 64, does Glendening get the contract? I think that's going to be an agonizing decision for Fitz and Keefe to make. I'm hoping he does, but like I just said before, Lamico's already signed. That may affect the decision. Glendening probably will have some other options, and he might take the path of least resistance like we saw LeBanc do, and it only makes sense, right? If you think your path is blocked to an NHL gig, you're going to go to where someone's like, this job is yours. And that could be there for him. Ryder, bottom 6, Palat, Glass, Brown, then Cotter, Glendening, Grits. Yep. Justin, looks like the Devils are going to extend Markstrom. Yeah, this was reported by all the Devils reporters the other day that I guess someone had mentioned it. And Fitz had actually, I think, maybe even last week or a few days ago. But this should be a win-now team, and I've said that. And I do believe extending Markstrom is a win-now move. Now, I do understand some people that kind of care more about the future than others. I will say at this moment in time, I really don't care about the future too much because years are ticking off for this core. And I'm completely in win now. I believe the window was kicked wide open in 22-23, and in the subsequent 2 seasons, 23-24, and last season, 24-25, we failed to capitalize or make a real push to win now. Markey, to me, is a win now goalie, obviously, because of his age, where he's at in his career, and I think extending him is assuming, maybe they'll do it before the regular season starts. I'm not sure what the time frame is, obviously. Luke was eligible to get extended forever. Nothing happened, and then it was the number one priority, and now here we are. A week and a half away from the regular season. He still doesn't have a deal either. So there's no way to really make sense of any of this with the way some of these things operate. But in the end, I do like Markey. I think he's going to be pretty damn good for us this season. He's a win now goalie, so I don't mind extending him. I understand all the people that are wondering about the future. Even if we extended Markey for only 2 years, Jake Allen's extended for 5. How many of those years he plays, who knows? But you would think with a Markstrom extension, that means we are all in on Markey and Allen for at least 2 seasons beyond this season, which, assuming they hold up, the age doesn't scare me now. Obviously, if it comes into play and they start falling apart or playing terribly and get injured, then you have to, address it at the time. But win now goalie tandem, I like it. Very curious, what that looks like if it's 2 years or whatever. And like I said, Allen here for 5 years technically. So maybe we see a brand new tandem in 3 more seasons from now. I don't really know, but those are future issues that I'm not too worried about. They need to just win now. The time to win is now. Devil Heaven 77, happy Sunday, Ace, my brother from another mother. What's going on, Devil Heaven? Hello, Devils fans. Verge Tibbs, little boys love the Cowboys colors and the star on the helmet. There's a lot of them where I live. I guess it's everywhere. America's team, right? I mean, there's Dallas fans everywhere. Garen, what's going on? Will Ethan Edwards make the team? Eventually, I think he's on this team. I don't know about this season. I was super excited about him. Maybe I got a little bit ahead of myself. I think Casey still is in front of him, but I do think he will be a solid NHL player, and it could be with the Devils at some point, whether that's due to injury or, guys getting dealt. But with the defensive depth we have right now, it's absolutely beautiful. But I don't think Edwards is going to start the season with the Devils. I think he starts in Utica with the Comets. Hokage, 1981. I live in Toronto, but I've been a Devils fan since I was a teenager many, many moons ago. Well, how many moons ago was that? I'm assuming you were born in 1981, which makes you a little bit older than me. And if you were a Devils fan since you were a teenager, at a minimum, you saw the last 2 cups. And you may have been 81. You were 14 in 95. If you were a fan in 95, you would have seen that cup as well. Joseph, I'm a Jets fan, and I dislike the Cowboys as everyone. I don't mind the Giants. Brutal times for New York football. I mean, the Giants won today, but does it really matter? I think Neighbors is gone for the year. My fantasy team is cooked. Hokage used to live in the east coast of Canada, though. I only moved here a few years ago. Okay. Binghamton needs AHL hockey back. Binghamton Devils were there for a couple years, right? The Devils AHL team was in Albany when I was a kid, Albany River Rats. Then they went to, I forget the order, but they went to, they were the Lowell Devils in Lowell, Massachusetts. They were the Binghamton Devils. Then they were the Albany Devils. And then I think it was Albany Devils to Utica Comets. What a path for the AHL franchise. Justin Smith says Green Bay is America's team, not the Cowboys. They're up there, but I don't know. Is Green Bay America's team? I can't say. I'm not in the scene enough to know, but I thought Cowboys were actually called America's team. Devil Heaven always got something good on deck. He's got a little fireball, drumsticks in the oven, garlic parm barbecue, side spuds, cooked carrots. I'm in for all that except the carrots, Devil Heaven. Ryder says, Markstrom, 2 times $5 million, I'm down. There was a report, I think, from Kevin Weeks, current NHL analyst, former New Jersey Devils netminder, that I think the initial offer was around $5 million. I will say, I hope Markey's not trying to get some crazy money out of the Devils on top of it. I mean, but who knows? Maybe this is extortion season. Every guy that's talking to Fitz is looking for max money. Lachance is a mule horse. Yeah, talked about him before. Love the size, love the physicality, love the hands, love everything. Go to the corners, get in scrums, Get in the goalie's kitchen, tip pucks, bat pucks, love it. You guys know I am a Lachance guy and would love to see him on this roster. But as it stands right now, it seems like he's going to need an injury because there's really no spot. Or at least it doesn't seem that way. We have a great problem finally, Devils fans. These kids are playing their hearts out. Yeah, a little bit of depth. A little bit of depth. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? But the depth on the blue line is crazy. I mean, at some point, I think a defenseman or two has to be traded. I feel like it would be malpractice if not. We just have too many pieces that are not going to be able to play in the league with us right now, and they're valuable, and we need forward help. Let's do it. Let's do it. Justin, Mets collapse. Oh, baseball. Baseball talk. We need to win now. Kane the Great, did you guys see the Carhartt by 47 collab all black hats coming out on October 1st? I did not. Let me take a look. Carhartt. I only see these brown ones that I'm not really a fan of, if I'm being honest. Oh, they're brown with the black mesh. I don't know about that. Maybe I'm missing the ones you're talking about. Timo's not in March form yet. Hopefully it comes in October or November. That's what I'm hoping for. Timo time could start early this year. Gonna like to see it. You've seen all the cups. Very nice. Yeah, congratulations. You're an old timer. There's some of us here that have seen all of them. And some of these poor kids haven't seen anything, depending on when they joined Devil's Army. Some of these people's highlights was the Cup Finals appearance in 2012. And then fans that came years later, some of their kind of pinnacle Devils moment as it stands today is that Game 7 victory over the Rangers in 23, which is, man, I mean, what a time that was. What a great series and what a great moment. But if that's like your Devils kind of high point, man, at least I could fantasize about the old days. Trolling in paradise. Barkov is going to miss the entire season as he had to undergo knee surgery recently. This means no three-peat for the Panthers, most likely. I'm not going to say that just yet, but it obviously, puts a big dent in their hopes. I mean, I think it would be crazy if you didn't at least agree that. Michael says Edwards won't beat out Casey. Whenever Seamus is on the ice, you can't take your eyes off him. Justin, glad I was able to see all three Devils Stanley Cup championships. As am I. As am I. What a time to be alive, guys. Devil Heaven 77, Edwards will bring our Comets a Calder Cup. I mean, that'd be nice. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't care too much about it. It'd be cool to see them win, but the reality is the primary function of the AHL team should be to develop this talent for the show. Develop and nurture future NHL talent. Guys are talking about football a little bit. Yo, Snand, how did the squad in Quebec look? Not too good. I was only able to catch bits and pieces as I was focusing on my split screen, primarily on the team in oh my God, what the heck is this? I'm looking at the game stats. There's like a truncated version where they don't have all the stats. It's just like shots on goal and power play. Devils outshot 14-32 in that Senators game. That's 14 shots is pretty pathetic. That kind of tells me all I need to know about that one, Yosnand. SST says trade Glass, sign Glendening. And then what? Well, what is your plan in that scenario, SST? Glendening is 3C and Lamaco's 4. What is your solution here? Are you going to put Mercer at center? I'm sure you have some ridiculous idea. M Sharp, Casey is so smooth. Love his shot pass. Yeah, that was nice. That was an almost connection to Jack. That was a nice play. Devil Heaven says, Ace, I can't watch MLB like watch. Yeah, I agree. I can't do it, guys. Baseball's not for me. So this is, I got a lot of screens here. Robert says, Ace, watch your episode with Benjamin. Good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat. I was on my buddy Benjamin. He has a podcast, Pucks from the Pine Tree. Primarily minor league stuff and Boston Bruins centric, but he tries to do, kind of previews of a bunch of teams and asked me to come on. So I sat down with my buddy Benjamin on Pucks from the Pine Tree pod and did a Devils kind of season preview episode. So check that out. Obviously, I'm going to have my own in-depth, but I like to wait till the preseason's done so I have all the data and all the things to pull from before. But once the preseason's officially over and leading up to it, you're going to obviously see a lot of videos coming from me. But thanks a lot, Robert. Appreciate it. If you guys want to check that out, I just I'll pin it, I guess. Or I can't even do that here. Yeah, I just pinned it. My appearance on Pucks on the Pine Tree. Rabid Monkeypox. Move on from Dawes and go Romanov. Yeah, I mean, I saw that he stopped a penalty shot and only gave up 1 goal in that game. The second goal was an empty net. And his stats on the day, I keep losing everything here. Yeah, he saw a lot of rubber, too. 30 saves on 31 shots for Romanov. Got no goal support from that B team up there in Quebec. He didn't deserve that loss, but you know how it goes. Sometimes you're not going to get any goal support, and he didn't get it today, unfortunately. But I'm curious to see what happens with Dawes. Obviously, that's another storyline everyone's keeping an eye on. Oh, and I forgot. Thank you for bringing him up. Dawes played pretty damn good. Wish he could have made one more save, obviously, in the shootout, but he made some big-time saves in the overtime and third. Even though he only got credit with 3, I feel like 2 of them were pretty high danger. Hokage 1981, I'm 100% spoiled. Yes, we are. Kane says, hard to find the Black Hats. I'm a member, so they sent me the ad. Okay, got it. Devil Heaven, this game was very exciting tonight. A lot of great positive attributes going forward. Comeback game. Yeah, it was an entertaining game. I wish we could have won. But it was not to be. Yo, Holmes, yo, Ace, just got here. Which of these jabroni camp guys do you think makes the squad? Well, I don't know who you consider a jabroni camp guy, but I think there is at least it's probably close to 50-50 that Glendening is the 4C. But there's a lot of other guys. There's a lot of other guys that have been impressive thus far and may see call-ups at some point. Lachance is my number 1. I've loved Lachance for a while. You saw it again today. Love what he brings. I like Legari. I like his game too. It's just we don't have enough spots. I like him. A lot to be excited about coming out of the preseason. James says, despite 2 losses today, I agree Lachance does have potential. Love Lachance. Love it. Devil Heaven, as I said, you have to fill the pipeline. We can never get away from that. Unfortunately, our depth is deep. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. And we finally have it up front, I believe, as well, with several guys that we wouldn't be at a massive disadvantage if they had to plug into our bottom 6 due to injury. Not the case last year. It was just a constant rotation of sub-NHL quality players, and it's unfortunate. I think Keefe was kind of handcuffed last year. I mean, just look at some of the bottom 6 lineups we had, even in the playoffs, and you're like, my God, that, you know, it wasn't anything pretty. M Sharp, can't wait for the Devils to start taking it to the net instead of skating side to side and waiting for the D to get set. Ryder, I'm out, going to run and take the kid to the park. Exciting for the season. Let's go Devils. Take care, Ryder. Paulie Walnuts coming in with the zinger. What will happen first? Luke signs the Devils or Ace finishes his studio? I got money on you, Ace. Well, my hard cutoff, this will be done before the post-game live of the very first game against Carolina. And so that is the latest it could be. I'm hoping it's sooner, but it could take up to the very end. If Luke misses a regular season game, I will, in fact, finish before he signs. Justin, thanks a lot. Hit the like button. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. M. Sharp says Luke. It's possible. I wouldn't be mad if that was the case. I'm hoping it comes out tomorrow. Devil Heaven, I grew up with the 80s MLB Big Mac, Oakland fan Bash Brothers as McGuire and Canseco. Grew up playing baseball, hockey, just not the same. Too many overpaid. Knowles, Dawes did not look as bad today. I think he did pretty good considering. Yeah, just wish he came in and made one more save in that shootout. But I thought Dawes looked solid. Rebounding a little bit from that last outing he had was not pretty. Devil Heaven, Dawes came in cold. Yeah. I like Dawes. I just don't know what the team's plan for him is. I don't know if they will look to trade him, if they try to sneak him through on waivers. Do they carry him? I mean, you don't really know where the team is at with that. I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's certainly an interesting one. Noel says it's preseason. Seeing how hard they played late today is great news. It's an adaptive sport, and the boys are starting to grow their hockey IQ. Nico Hischier today was absolutely diamond sharp and taking no. Shout out to Nico. Yeah, I forget. Was it Dubois or somebody? Jack went down, and it did seem like maybe it was a little bit of an embellishment, or maybe he was really off balance when he was behind the net and he went down. They called the penalty. Dubois started chirping and whatever. And Nico just came and just just kind of trucked him a little bit. I did think it was pretty weak that Nico got a roughing there to negate the power play. It looked like the refs were just, looking to, even it up and cancel out the power play essentially, which happened. But love to see a guy like Nico stick up for Jack, and don't back down. Don't back down. Robert, just preseason, all looks good and depth is evident. Keep the faith and shout the support for our team. Like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Ace to the win. Thank you, Robert. Really appreciate that. I'm excited for the year. And I think this team is capable of doing some damage. Again, starts with health, but we got some exciting things going on. Exciting things are going on with or without Luke Hughes. I do think this team is capable of doing some damage. Rabid Monkeypox Ace, what are the chances of the Devils just say no to Luke and trade him for a boatload of picks? Oh, boy. I'm going to say very, very small, virtually non-existent, I would say. I can never say completely non-existent because there's always a little chance of anything. But, I think the grand plan for this organization is to lock Luke up at 8 years. That's something they could tolerate in terms of cap. And then bring over Quinn, whether it's in a trade before he's eligible for unrestricted free agency or if they have to wait till then. But I do believe at the latest, it's under 2 years from now, on July 1st, 2027, when Luke is an unrestricted free agent, he will sign on the line, which is dotted, with the New Jersey Devils and unite all three Hughes brothers in New Jersey. And so trading Luke obviously is not part of that plan. And so I think it would take something super outrageously offensive and whatever else for the talks to get so bad that with Jack Hughes being here, that Luke is traded. I just can't see it in any scenario, honestly. But never say never. But for me, it's like a fraction of 1%. Devil Heaven 77. Any Sopranos fans? I got to sit down and watch Sopranos start to finish. Can't go wrong. Absolutely. I've been meaning to do a rewatch forever, but one of the greatest TV shows of all time and my favorite show of all time. All hail Captain Nico. Trolling in Paradise. The Devils actually lost twice today in 2 different countries. Devil Heaven power play looked good. Solid puck movement. Yeah, again, so many different combos you could throw out there. I did like the BRATT, Hughes, Timo, Nico, Casey look. I do like Lachance parked out there in front of the net. Now, probably just more of a novelty kind of audition there in a preseason game. It didn't mean anything, but I think that gave you a little taste of what this kid can do when utilized in that fashion. Love to see it. Yo, Holmes, Ace, where did this Romanov guy come from? Dude has been playing solid. Yeah, he was in San Jose for a couple of years. Let me see. He didn't play a lot. In 23-24, he played 2 games, had a 1.01 goals against and 967, which is phenomenal, and only 59 minutes on the ice. So obviously super, super small sample size. And then last year he played 8 games, starting 6 of them, and his numbers were tragic. A 389 goals against and an 877 save percentage. 6'5", another big boy, obviously from Russia. And who knows what becomes of him. I'm not expecting much, but if Dawes is traded or whatever they do with him, maybe he's added as a depth move for the A. I wouldn't mind. I think goalies are another thing you need to have a bunch of just to be safe. John Rogers, doesn't win or lose be booze start in the preseason? Come on, Ace. No. Some things are special. Regular season, we'll be back. And I'm not going to stay on here too long today because I got the call from Mama Ace that she made meatballs. And so I certainly am not going to miss out on those. Nicole, Nico is rarely a fighter, but I love it when he is. I hope this means that is what we will see from him, the Devils this year. Hopefully a little more snarl, Nicole. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Let's see it. We saw it through December last year, and the team was playing well. Paulie Walnuts, Ace, I thought you don't wear any merch of players who haven't won a cup. What's up with the Jack Hughes shirt? So this is a Jack Hughes. So I never said merch, Paulie. I said I won't wear a jersey. Very big difference. And I collect jerseys, game-worn jerseys. I have tons of jerseys, game-worn jerseys of guys that never won cups. But I said for jerseys that I personally wear, I can't deviate from the legends who brought us to the mountaintop and lifted multiple Stanley Cups for my jerseys. I have tons of player t-shirts and stuff. I'm not, this is I'm a Jack Hughes fan, like Jack Hughes. This is a player t-shirt. I will wear that, no issue. Will I buy a Jack Hughes jersey? No, absolutely not. But a player t-shirt? Absolutely, yes. And I have a lot of other player t-shirts from over the years of guys that unfortunately never won a cup with us. Some that quickly come to mind would be like Travis Zajac, Kovalchuk, Zach Parise. I may have had a Taylor Hall one, but very big distinction between t-shirt and jersey. Michael Ace, what do you think of the McTavish deal? Do you think he got more, less, or expected money with the rising cap? We get $7 million. I think I think that's kind of what most people and most estimates were out there for him. I mean, let me see something. I think that's a good deal for both sides. Yeah, I mean, I thought he may have gotten a little bit more, but I think that's a good deal for both sides. The rising cap stuff is very real, but guys also have to realize like where they're at. Defense, I think, is a lot more problematic than forwards, but all these guys are trying to get paid, and I get it, but at some point you got to leave the meat on the bone. Got to leave the meat on the bone, like Fitzy says. Devil Heaven, let's make Luke Nader earn it. Put Seamus and Edward Wolverines together like you're sitting. Tasha says, just got back from the game. Very nice. I mean, you saw an exciting game. The preseason is fun. I love this time of year. Justin, got to have the meatballs. Absolutely cannot miss out on the meatballs. Tasha, it was super exciting. Dubois was yapping to the crowd, but I couldn't tell what he was saying. Yeah, well, Nico came in with the gloves. Real home-cooked meatballs are priorities. Amagi, back from the game. Food spread was real interesting. Met a girl and got her info. Saw Grits score a shootout. Didn't realize Lachance was that big. Ate hella ice cream. Fun time. Hate shootout. You sent me some text there about the food. Chinese food. I don't know if I've ever seen Chinese food in the lounges. I look forward to when I finally am at a game when they have it, because your boy will sample it and test it out. But Lachance is a huge guy. Oh, we're missing. Met a girl and got her info. So let's drill in on that a little bit, Amagi. Met a girl and got her info. Is this like in I scooped the digits? Do kids still say the digits? Or is that an old man saying? Do people still say got her digits? Probably not. But I'm imagining that is what you're talking about here. In like a potential dating scenario. Is that what this is? I need clarification, Amagi. Met a girl and got her info. Her email address? What exactly is her info? Hopefully not a social security number. Tasha says, super happy for Lachance to get that goal. Yeah, it was phenomenal. And then I immediately was nauseated when I saw they were challenging it. And then when they showed the replay, I was like, oh boy. Because we've seen we've seen the scenarios where, like, if you like brush the goalie ever so lightly, they'll call interference and wave a goal off. And so there definitely was some sort of contact where I thought I've seen ones that were probably even less than that negated the goal. So I was nervous, but super happy for Lachance that the goal stood after they reviewed. I will enjoy the meatballs. Thank you. Knowles, need to get my hands on one more jersey alternate. Might get a blank one again for now. Is it bad luck to wear 1-2 games without a number? Is that a myth? That's a myth. I have a couple blank jerseys. I wear my Marty and Stevens most frequently, but I do have some blank ones. Tasha says if she's a Devils fan, then she's a keeper. And Tasha said, nah, people say got the digits. Yeah, but Tasha, aren't you old also? I forget. Tasha, how old are you? If you're remotely old, you're not the people I'm asking this question to. I'm asking it to the youth. You're not part of the youth, I don't think. Robert says Jersey retire this season. Looking forward to the new third. Anson, what's the impressive of Dadonov so far? So he was in the game in Quebec against Ottawa, so didn't get to see him today. Okay, Tasha, my bad. You're young. I think there's someone else with Tasha in the name who's old. So confirmed by a sophomore in high school, people still say got the digits. Okay. Glad to know that not everything has completely changed in time. But Dadonov, I think he could be serviceable with Jack and Bratt in the small sample size we saw. He looked okay. I think he's going to help this team regardless of where he plays for the majority of the season. It would be nice if it was in the bottom 6 because we had either someone else emerge as a legit top 6 threat or someone was brought in from the outside. But I think he's going to be a great addition to the team. We're going to see. I don't know if he sticks with Jack and Bratt all season, but we will certainly see. Amagi, orange chicken, lo mein, fried rice, orange chicken tenders, wild. She was a single-seater, too, next to me. Became a fan around the same time as me. Passionate fan. I got her beeper number. Well, if that story doesn't sound like fate, Amagi, I don't know what is. Good luck to you in your endeavors. It seems like maybe you got to bring this gal to another game. This seems like it was destiny and meant to be. And you guys may have shared a moment over some fried rice and lo mein at a hockey game. Who would have thought? In 2025. Got her Nextel number. Tasha said, thought they were going to disallow it. Yeah, I when I saw the replay, I really was like, oh boy, this is going to come off. But I'm glad it wasn't. Lachance must play. I love Lachance. Been talking about him for a while and spent a lot of time right now talking about him. Love it. You can't teach size. You can't teach the innate fire within. The competitor, the scrappiness, and obviously that hand-eye, that just batting that puck out in front was beautiful. I don't make meatballs. I don't make much of anything. I can make some stuff, but I'm very lazy, and more so than being lazy, I despise cleaning up, and I am also a very messy chef, and I do damage. And then to undo the damage with cleaning and stuff, it's a lot. But what does she put in her meatballs? I think hers might just be lately. There was the blend. I do like the blend. The beef, pork, and veal, I think may, if done properly, are the ingredients of the superior meatball. But I think lately she's been just making them with turkey. I think she's on like some health kick. My mother reads too many articles and shit. And so like everything's bad for you. Everything causes cancer. Don't talk on the phone and put it in your ear because the cancerous waves. And then there's something new every week that's bad for you and that you shouldn't do because it somehow is killing you slowly, which at this juncture, I probably believe it about a lot of things. But, so they're turkey for now. He got her gram. Oh, no. I will say, I do believe there will be studies in years from now about how social media essentially poisoned generations of people's minds and created a very weird dynamic in society. I'm not going to go off too much on that, but Instagram, I don't know, guys. Noel says, I remember my first time getting info from a gal. Girls are usually the ones wanting guys' social security numbers. That's all they want. It's to steal your identity and run up millions of dollars in debt. Oh, M Sharp, do you not even know what a beeper is? Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go. This is the I feel like a geezer moment of the night. Someone asking what a beeper is. Pop that into the Google and you'll see. This is before cell phones. The beeper or pager. Or pager. You could put it in the term pager. Robert, old man Rob here is 50 years old, Devils fan since 1984. Very nice. You got me beat by a decade. I had 3 beepers. Devil, Ace, ask mom, grandson, and mom cook the best. Nextel Rock, the chirp. Little burp, burp, burp. I actually somehow never had one. I had regular phones. I had a regular cell phone pretty early. I was, I think, in 8th grade. And I went and got it. And then I remember the Nextels came out, and I'm like, I don't see the novelty. It was just like a longer range walkie-talkie. I was like, I don't want to, hear the, it was a thing though. Everyone I know had them at some point. Yeah, the blend, pork, veal, and beef. That is the Trinity. That is the Trinity. Tasha says, social media has poisoned generations of people. I believe it. Oh, it's bad. It's real bad. It's real bad. And I know people my age. Believe it or not, it's not just kids. I know 40-year-old grown women that have allowed the social media to pollute their brains and their outlook on life. And quite frankly, I feel bad for them. But, you know, I call it the disease. It's the disease. I know beepers, but for drug dealers, I had a Sky Pager. I had the green Motorola. Knowles, I had like a teal. It was like a translucent teal. It was a Motorola Bravo. Motorola Bravo beeper. And I've wanted to, I couldn't find the exact color. I found them online. I wanted to buy one as just like a, you know, like a novelty item. And I can't find the exact color that I had. I found the same exact model in different colors, but I'm looking, I would like the one that I had. I saved a lot of stuff from when I was a kid. I don't know where the hell it went, but wow. Nicole, my research is on how social media impacts relationships. Not great, but this is today's generation. I'm not surprised at all, Nicole. Some of the stuff I've seen and heard, and just from conversations with people, I believe it's poison, complete poison. I don't use social media personally that much. I've been using it a little bit more with all this stuff and trying to do a little bit more in terms of hockey. I do look at that very differently than, like, you know, the people that are on there. I don't know what they look at. We're looking at fashion and celebrities and all this shit. I don't care about any of that stuff. But for hockey, I definitely love it. It's a great tool for hockey to keep up on news, follow players, reporters, all that stuff. Richard says, grew up with rotary phones, phone booths, payphones, beeper, 8-tracks, and vinyl in my day. What's her name, and did you get the numerals? A Tamagotchi. Oh, yeah, we're so derailed now. You guys are talking about old technologies. Tamagotchi. I think that was in like 1998 or 99. Who would have thought, right? A little digital pet keychain that you have to, like, keep alive would have become such a sensation. Shout out to whoever invented that thing. They definitely made tens of millions in a short period of time. That see-through green Motorola pager seared into my brain is the Bravo. It was like the Bravo LX or the Bravo Flex, something like that. But it was teal and it was the clear. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Moggy says, funniest moment was this one girl drawing the entire attention of the lower level because she was screaming her head off when nothing really was happening. No power play, no kill, just her screaming. Yeah, society's a scary place, guys. For all those you guys outside, when you go out in public, you'll see things like this. People are unhinged. People are unwell. Stay safe out there. People are nuts. Yeah, I agree. Social media is a poison. People are more concerned with how they look online than in real life. Completely agree. Combination of keeping up with the Joneses and whatever else, but it's all just very bad. Yo, Holmes, the beepers with colors were very, is that supposed to be bougie? I don't think they were. It wasn't that much money. I was a kid. I was able to afford it at, like, you know, young days. Couldn't have been that much. Steven says, it's the entire mainstream media, lies and propaganda. What they tell you on TV is not what's really going on in the world. People are brainwashed. I think that's kind of the state of media today, is like, well, at this point, I don't know what to believe anymore, but I do think there's tons of misinformation and things on all regular channels and online and whatever else. And it's like, with all these other platforms, YouTube included, and all these other things, it's like the media is made up of networks with agendas and then individuals with agendas, some individuals with no agendas. And so, yeah, the media is quite a different thing in 2025 than it has been in years prior. And as we go on, the lines kind of get blurred a little bit more. What a time to be alive. Devil Heaven says relationships at 48 are very interesting. I would imagine. Tasha says, I agree. The only reason I'm on Instagram is to keep up on hockey. Well, Tasha, you're young, so that's good. You're in high school. Stay off social media. It's going to do nothing positive for your life. I'm sure all your friends are on it 24/7, but stay off of it. Go play outside and do things with your friends in real life. Social media is poison. Brainwashing yourself. Yeah. Michael S. Steve Jobs is going to go down as the most hated man in history. He took away quiet reflection. Everyone has to be connected. The Apple iPhone. But it was on its way to that beforehand. If you don't remember the Crackberry, the BlackBerry had a run. It really had a nice little run before Steve Jobs came along and was like, nah, I got this iPhone thing. Check this. Devil Heaven, my God. Nicole, with that being said, are you still single? And Nicole says, no, she's still happily married, and her husband is in her profile picture still. Some of you guys are savages. Justin, who would have thought that Pokemon would have been a success 29 years later? Pokemon was something that I don't know when it technically first came out, but I feel like I was way too old to entertain it. I do know people my age and even a couple years older, a couple years older or younger that somehow got into it. Certainly not my thing. But a smashing successful French fries, I almost said. Franchise. I got food on the mind. Franchise that has generated billions of dollars. Yo, Holmes, Amagi, do you have to beep her at least 1 hour before your date? Yeah, I'm very curious about this. Is this going to be like, are you going to go on a Devils date, Amagi? Oh, man. Tasha, my friends are on it 24/7, not a fan, right? All right, guys. The Devils lost 2 games today. Not too concerned. Preseason means nothing. Split squad. We saw some things to be excited about in the game in New Jersey. Seamus Casey looks like he's still that dude. Lachance, very promising. We have some lethal power play combos we could throw out there. GRITSYUK converted on a shootout attempt. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And that's it, guys. Leave Nicole alone. She's happily married. I guess this is what happens when there's like 1 or 2 females in a predominantly male chat. Savages. But Amagi, I'm gonna have to follow up, dog. I need to hear the rest of the story. Good luck to you. Hopefully you found the one. Who says you can't find love at the Rock? Our man may have done it tonight. Fine. Anyone have anything else on the end here? Who are we thinking? Go ahead and make the final lineup. Everyone you expect, and I think the only thing that's pretty much up for kind of conversation or for them to figure out is 4C, and it's either going to be Lamico, I think, or Glendening. We shall see how that all plays out. You guys are talking about Charizards and stuff, so this is where we just got completely sideways. But I will be back soon. I have a lot of things in the works. So many things as we continue on in this preseason and training camp leading up to the regular season. Lots of stuff for both fans, young and old, coming soon. I got some things. There are some things that are just brewing on the pot. Some things, I've talked about this before, some things materialize quickly. Some take a very long time to materialize. And unfortunately, some things never materialize. But I'm going to keep shooting these shots because shooters shoot. And there's some exciting stuff coming. But all right, guys. Devils fall in both games. It is what it is. When is the next one? I don't even remember. Is it the 2nd? Yeah. Oh, wow. Multiple days off here. I don't really like this. 3 days off, and we are back in action Thursday night. Thursday night at MSG, the world's most famous arena, against the New York Rangers, the team I've hated since childhood. And I'm hoping we'll see some scraps in that one. I have no idea what type of lineup to expect in that one. How many are left after that? Yeah, and then they only have one more preseason game after that in Philly on Saturday the 4th, and then 5 days off before we open up the regular season slate in Carolina against those pesky Canes, where our season ended in devastating fashion last season. That game 5, what a nightmare. How did we blow that lead? It's brutal. But all right, guys. I might do a live before that. I don't know. There's going to be definitely going to be videos. I got some exciting stuff, but definitely going to be a video or two, if not a live as well, before the next post-game live, which will be that Ranger game. And that's it. If you're newer to the channel, welcome aboard. Check out some of the stuff that's been posted on the channel in the past. If you like vlogs, there's that sort of stuff. There's some interviews, all kinds of things. But that is it, guys. Hit the thumbs up for your boy on the way out. Trying to think if I have anything else. I think that's it. I'm about to go house these meatballs, though. I'm very excited for that. Very excited for that. And I'm very excited for this hockey season. You could call it hopium. You could call it whatever you want. But I think the boys are going to do some damage this year. Just got to stay healthy, and I think they do damage. I think they do. They just have a little bit different of a swagger to them, so it seems. So it seems. I could be wrong, but that's the early vibes I'm getting from this group. A little more swagger. A little more swagger. But that's it, guys. That's it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.